All right, so let's talk about like ways that you can build this, like how you can create it. So we already talked about sort of the developer tools, things like you know, a toad or whatever, you can access this and you can query and search around that metadata. That's one method to access that. And we've already talked about why that's not sufficient for this concept of the catalog we're talking here. Another thing you might get is a vendor-generated catalog documentation. So they might provide, if you have a vendor, either an application type vendor or maybe a technology or database type vendor, if they provide, you know, a way to generate documentation or provide documentation, that's really useful. But it can create that sort of siloed information, and oftentimes it might not be complete enough. It might be very functionally driven. There are third-party tools to generate documentation, open source tools like Schema Crawler or SQL Spec that you can run. Oftentimes, though, those are going to generate sort of static web pages. If you're lucky, they can create sort of import files or XML types of things that you can use to ingest into something else. But that's super useful, or PL Doc or Java Doc or SQL Doc, those types of tools to generate this kind of stuff. Then next to that, you can look at these sort of data catalog solutions, right? And there are data catalog products that are, you know, oftentimes focused on modeling and development that can document your current database for the purpose of doing modeling and development of an extension of that database. Or there are things that are focused on providing the metadata for the purpose of database tuning and technical administration. There's some that may be focused on versioning or data quality management, and then some that allow you to do things like curation of that information. Lastly, there's a sort of a full data catalog and data governance solution like Data Cookbook or other kind of full read solutions that have kind of all these data catalog features, but also are able to then connect it to these other data sources. I don't want to end this conversation with you saying like, oh my gosh, we shouldn't bother doing anything unless we go, you know, buy the Data Cookbook or get a full data governance solution. That's absolutely not true. Like, no matter what you're doing, even if you're just giving people more access to developer tools or finding and publishing the vendor documentation that you get, that's better than having people not understand your data right now. And that can lead towards, once you get to the point where maybe you want to have a data governance solution that gives you more content and more buy-in to do that. And however, starting with a solution like this can avoid some of the headaches of those mistakes that people make, like, you know, generating these siloed, frozen, you know, static solutions as well.